Waiting to see if any notifications are being sent out, but I'm not waiting for a crowd to just discuss what's on my mind tonight. You can watch it later on. As the topic suggests, I'm here trying to find some solutions to the problems that exist in Jamaica as it pertains to children. And I'm hoping that we are going to end this discussion with good night, Apple. I'm hoping tonight we're going to talk some things and we're going to see what is the problem in Jamaica as it relates to these children. What are we going to do about it? It's obvious that the people in Jamaica are either too weak or they're tired or they just don't have the strength. Good night, Apple. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. You have to help me brainstorm tonight, Apple. So let's see if you're going to come up with some solutions. Anyway, I have some notes over here, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I came on tonight and why I think this live is very important. Every time I touch on the subject or anything in Jamaica, my channel is usually affected by it, but I don't care. So if this is the last live I do, I have to make sure it's worth my time. Do you understand? There's so much going on. I sort of took myself away from most media the last 20 days. I just kind of focus on myself, Apple. So I don't really know what's going on too much, but I had to come here and talk about this. I'm hoping some more people will join me tonight, but we'll wait a little bit more and see. Let me see if I can entertain you with some of my African songs. So how you doing, Apple? How is life treating you? Oh, really? Wow. Banned for life. Why? What reason did they give, Apple? What reason did they give for banning him? Well, let's hope that tonight our speech is not considered hate speech. Wow. So let's see. What do I start with? Did you hear about the 6-year-old child that was seen on tape? Some man was videotaping this child as he was violating her. Anyway, I'm going to get into it. I had a dream this morning, and this is what pushed me to come here and talk about this. This morning, I dreamt that there was a girl, maybe preteen, early teenage years. So I'm going to put that kid between 12 and maybe 14. And I dreamt that I saw this girl hanging from a tree. And people were watching her. People were looking up, and this is Jamaica. People were looking at this little girl, and some people were taking photographs, and some people were passing, and some were laughing. Okay, maybe that's where this is going, Apple. So in this dream, it's so vivid, it's so graphic. The girl is in a white dress, a short white dress, and she's obviously still alive and she's on the tree. And people are going about their business, and some people are talking, and some people are very excited. And it really symbolized. Now, I'm not saying that dream is just symbolizing what I'm about to discuss, because I think it's a very graphic story, and I think it's something that is probably going to happen. But it gives me an opportunity to come here and talk about this today. The girl is hanging from the tree. She's still very much alive, the young girl, and she is there, tears running out of her eyes, and people are looking at her and going about their business and acting as if it's no problem. And when I woke up this morning, that was very frightening. And I thought to myself, wow, that is pretty much what is happening in Jamaica with our young girls. The young girls, the little children, are not getting any protection. And what is happening to them? They're dying, almost as if they're hanging from a tree, and no one is doing anything to assist them. And I'm thinking it's time that we stop looking at these episodes, and talk about it for a few days. This horrific crime being done against children and women in Jamaica. And just for a few days, we talk about it on social media. And in Jamaica, there's some fake outcries, and then everything goes back to normal. See, it makes me very sad, because when I'm going to talk about these things, I want to talk to people. I don't want to just talk to the screen and I don't see anyone, but I don't know what to do. I think if I come on social media and I cuss BC and RC and PC, I'm sure people will listen to me, but that's not really my true character. That is, I get out of my character when I do that. That's not me in general. And I'm hoping, Apple, even if it's just you alone tonight that's listening, I'm just going to continue with this conversation. The dream that I saw with the girl hanging from the tree is pretty much what is happening to our girls, to our women in Jamaica, and nobody seems to care, right? Exactly. No one is caring about these kids. Yesterday, I was giving a little girl a bath, because that's part of what I do. I don't just take care of people's kids. I do the ultimate thing. And as I was giving this kid a shower yesterday, 2 years old. When I took her out of the bathtub, Apple, she automatically curved her legs up like she's still in the fetal position. And what came to my mind was like, oh my goodness, she's 2 years old, but she's still very much new to this world. She's still, resuming that fetal position that babies, they're used to curling their legs up. And I was thinking to myself, how could somebody in their right mind look at this infant and do harm to this child, any form of harm, let alone look at this child as a sexual being? How is that possible? And how are individuals allowed to continually kind of perpetuate this kind of violence on infants and girls and women in Jamaica, and then it goes unabated because, politicians decide that they're going to come up with these laws and they put it on the books, and they don't make sure that they're reinforcing it. So the dream, just looking at the little girl that I'm taking care of, how, 2 year old, she's a baby, she's new. She's still very much new to this world, still trying to get used to being alive, really, if you want to look at it that way. And we see children as young as 2, children younger than that are being molested, that are being abused, that are being, taken from us very early in Jamaica. And all we do is talk about it for a few days. Then I also want to talk about the power of social media. How pretty done. Not someone who comes out here and speak proper, and someone who come out here and break down for us intellectually, but someone who is raw and very uncensored. How this individual gained access to a video with a man violating a young child, and made a big alarm about it, so that I can hear about it, so you can hear about it, and other folks are talking about it. But my fear is this is not something that should be talked about for a minute, or something that we just talk about just to get together and socialize, because I find these travesty in Jamaica, Apple, that are happening, it's like people are getting excited about it. When bad things happen in Jamaica, it's like an excitement. You know, in the past, people used to say, oh, what an exciting thing. But they were misusing that word. But nowadays, I think they mean it. So again, there were allegations made. I can prove that what is said is true in terms of this man being hauled off to jail or to be questioned and then released. And if that is true, again, we have to say allegation because social media, you can't really go on everything you see on social media. So if that is true, that this kid, this man, this grown man, apparently someone who is an expat of Jamaica who used to be in the military in the States and came back to Jamaica. This is what is alleged. And this person was brought into the police station, and that the parents didn't come to identify the child in the video, and so he walks. Again, these are allegations. I'm not sure if this is true. Because of this, I can't really attack the police officers in Jamaica because I don't know the whole thing. But my thing is, if it's true, and I think I saw a little clip on Vegas page talking about them releasing this individual with the claims that no one, the parents didn't come to identify this kid. And I'm thinking, why does a rapist, a child molester, a pedophile need anyone to come and identify his victim? The victim is there and the information is there on his phone. So if you can't charge him for anything else, you can at least charge him for child pornography. So if it's true that he's free or is gone or is disappeared or whatever the story is, why is that the case? And so if this is true, and again, there's no way for me to confirm this right now. So I'm here making these allegations or asking people to share what they know and to raise hell, to start a petition so that we can go outside of Jamaica and cry an alarm that our women and our girls are endangered species in Jamaica, and that enough is not being done to protect the rights of our kids. Unfortunately, the women in politics in Jamaica have not been doing enough. I've not heard one person come out and speak against the violence towards women. If it's happened, I don't hear it. I don't hear anyone else talking about violence towards women. I'm not hearing anything. A little girl, 8 years old, lost her life just, 2 weeks ago? And there is this social outcry on social media. And that's only lasted a very short time. Apple. Now, see, that raw side of me is trying to be tamed tonight because I don't want to yell and scream. I don't feel like if I'm doing that, I'm getting very emotional and I'm not going to get anything accomplished by doing that. And I have a lot of ideas, a lot of suggestions, a lot of things that I think is needed to solve the problem in Jamaica. Law enforcement, there's a big question mark to say, what are these individuals doing? I don't know. I know they don't have resources a lot of time. People are criticizing them, saying that they're saying they don't have resources, but they obviously don't. And if they're representing the government and the government is not giving them resources to do their work, can you really take these individuals and ask them to go pay for the resources that they need? We can't do that. I know for sure that I reported a crime. Good night, Gaza. Good night, Gaza. Maybe we could talk about this another time. What I want to talk about, because that's a very good question, Ricardo. You're asking if I think cartel is going to get free. That's another topic for another day. What I want to talk about is, are the Jamaican people going to be free from violence, and are the children in Jamaica going to be free from abuse, from pedophilia, from kids, little girls and boys to losing their life from child molestation, from adults going around and abusing our kids? This is very serious, Ricardo. And I wish people would show as much passion towards what's happening to the women and the girls in Jamaica as they do about cartel. And I like Vibes Cartel, and I wish the best for him. But I wish they would show the same emphasis about what's happening. I don't know if you live in Jamaica, Ricardo. If you do, let me know. But what's happening, I think the support you show for Vibes Cartel and all the other artists, You need to be showing those same kind of support for our girls and for our women in Jamaica, because this is horrible. All right, we're talking about solutions. What solutions do you think we should come up with for the abuse of children and women in Jamaica? Big question. So you're from Guyana. What is your opinion, Gaza, Ricardo, about what's happening in Jamaica with our kids? So what are the solutions? And I have some solutions. Wish more folks were here so I wouldn't have to just give my opinion and just to hear what some other people are saying. Apple, are you still there? What solutions do you have for this situation in Jamaica with the kids? With this little girl who was seen on tape, this man on tape molesting a little girl, and it's alleged that this man is now free and that they accepted the excuse that the kid's parents didn't come to identify the child in the video. This cannot be true. If that's true, then I don't ever want to go back to Jamaica, because that's very scary. Okay. I did in a few videos, I express my opinion that a lot of the crime, and this is a theory, my theory, that a lot of the crimes being committed in Jamaica are being done maybe by Jamaicans, but many Jamaicans that are not living there. I don't know. I don't know what's happening in Gaza. I'm saying I alleged and I suspected that a lot of the crimes that are committed in Jamaica are being done by folks who either are from there but don't live there anymore, or individuals who just come to visit the island and leave. And what is the government doing? Not enough. So I think, in spite of everything we've said, and now we talk about it, and some people come out and they're politically correct, and some people come out like Pretty Don and just get raw, and individuals come and, like Vegas, that, is telling people how he feels about what's happening, and he's trying to stay in the middle, not to become too emotional, but at the same time saying we have to do something about it. And he's afraid to do anything right now, because every time something happens and he speak up, he's defending the Jamaican people. But guess what? He becomes this laughing stock. So now he's asking other people to go out. But I want to tell Vegas, don't wait for these individuals who are programmed to go out and do the thing. Go. Don't care about who wants to ridicule you. Don't be afraid of ridicule. It doesn't matter what they think. You're doing what's right. How do we empower the girls and the women, Black God? How do we start that? Because right now it seems like we're going to have to start from scratch. And most of the people who are in a position where they can empower these folks, the young girls and the women look to them as role models, they're not doing anything. They're busy doing their bodies, busy putting in ass and breast. And I don't like to criticize people's choices, but I'm saying the young girls are just looking at the physical. They're not looking at the spiritual. They're not looking at the emotional. So these girls are just experiencing these horrible things done to their bodies from they're very young, to their minds and their bodies. And they just say, okay, that's just how it is. People have now accepted that Jamaica is a space that takes little children and, prepare them from very early on to become concubines. It's a terrible thing to be using against children's names. That's horrible. They're preparing the children. But that's why you have these people with a mentality talking about side chick and main chick and whatever, not understanding that women have value and our girls have value. I see this girl in my dream, young preteen or early teen years, in her short white dress hanging from a tree, and people looking at her and taking picture and acting as if nothing is wrong. And that pretty much is very symbolic of what's happening in Jamaica right now. Now, here's a part where the Christian people are going to hate me for saying, at this point, when there's laws on the book, when police officers' hands are tied, it appears, where a person who is as guilty as, I don't know, as guilty as what? This person is seen on the video molesting a child, and that person gets to walk free. That's the kind of Jamaica that exists now. Are we okay with that? Okay, so what are the solutions? First of all, I'm saying, where are the light workers? Where are the light workers? You know what that means? You know, people love to demonize Africa and demonize Jamaica. They love to talk about Obia. What Obia? What is healing? Where's the healing of the nation? What Obia are they talking about? I'm calling upon the people in St. Thomas, if there are still any authentic, true Africans there who have held on to the traditions of Mama Africa, to start up some kumina, you know, that thing that they say is obia, everything linked to Africa being dark, to start up some kumina. I'm asking the Rastafarians to drum up some Nyabingi. This is crisis. This is crisis. This is a crisis in Jamaica, and it's not getting any better. And here's the unfortunate thing. We're always saying we want to be independent. And we're saying that we must be left alone to do our own thing and we don't want outside interference. But we have no choice. Now, as Jamaicans who live in the diaspora, I think we have to come together and drum up support for these young girls and these women, because either the people in Jamaica are afraid, they're too afraid to stand up to these politicians, or they're afraid to stand up to the ones who are guilty of harming our children. So now, since they're afraid and we don't live there and feel a little bit more safe, then maybe we have to drum up the support for them. And we have to go to the Human Rights Tribunal to tell them about what is happening to our girls, bring awareness to it about it, and to raise hell. Drum up, getting our petitions going. Okay, welcome back, Apple. Getting our petition going so that we can make some changes. We're not depending on the politicians in Jamaica because they're a joke. Listen, I got a phone call a few days ago. When I picked up my phone, it's a phone that I don't really use, but I have it for emergency purpose. And when I picked up the phone, it was the mayor of my city inviting me to listen to a meeting that they had scheduled to discuss, you know, some changes that are going to happen. And I sat in my living room on that phone and listened to the conversation as if I was there. I was invited to participate, to ask questions, to show that, you know what, you are part of this town and we want to hear your opinion. They're not doing anything. They don't care about the people, and it's very obvious. In fact, and again, this is alleged, because I don't know if I read something in a paper, I still have to say alleged. But the prime minister says that he's not there to alleviate poverty. And he's not there to set up social network. He's there to create wealth for Jamaica. So he's busy taking care of creating wealth. And I don't know who he's creating this wealth for, except people who are already wealthy. Because people who are not wealthy, you're not creating wealth for them because they don't have access to these resources. But how do you even catch them to do that, Apple? How do you catch these individuals when they're being protected? When a man is brought into, this is alleged, when a man is brought into a police station because he has access to child pornography and he's let go, allegedly, because I don't believe this is true. I'm just thinking this is one of those social media, you know, untruths. But because it is so important, I have to do this. I had to do this live to discuss it. Okay. And I'm here calling on the light workers in St. Thomas to if they really know anything, you know, so that Jamaica can stop getting blamed for things that they're not doing in terms of Obia, because we're told that, you know, they're Obia working people in Jamaica. And if they know Obia, the same kind of Obia that Nadine knew, and people are walking around and turning the country upside down, and simple persons can go and do these kind of wicked acts and just walk free, then what is the point in knowing Obia? State of emergency. And I'm looking at my notes here because I'm really trying to not let this go too long. And because not much person is here. Apple, thank you so much for joining me. And Black God, I appreciate your presence. Gaza, you know what? It doesn't matter. Even if it's just 2 or 3 of us, this discussion is important. And people will see this afterwards. State of emergency is being called in Hanover and St. James, and I think Westmoreland. State of emergency needs to be called in the entire island. All of Jamaica needs to have a state of emergency as it relates to our children. Forget about government. They're doing what they are elected. They're not doing what they're elected to do. They're doing what their friends are asking them to do. So we can't depend on them. The moms, the women, it's the women of Jamaica that I'm appealing to. They are the ones who have to protect. Big up yourself, Rapper. Blessings. Rapper, I need you to talk about this on your channel. I know you're going to do your research, but I'm just discussing what I heard about the 6-year-old girl who was seen on video, and I haven't seen it, but she's seen on video with an older man molesting her, and apparently this man is sent home. You know, I guess he's allowed to leave the island or something because they said the parents didn't come to identify him. Bless up yourself, Queen J. Now, I don't know how and which planet that could be used as an excuse for a child who is violated. You hear his voice, and even if he's saying that's not him because his face is not in the video, and you can't recognize his voice, but you have him with a phone with child pornography on it. At least you can charge him for that, and he's not charged. What is happening to that little child? And how long was she being molested by that same man? Listen, I'm doing everything right now just to be nice. Yes, pretty done. I reached out to her and she just gave me some inside information. In fact, she says that it's a friend of hers, or maybe not a friend, but somebody who watches her, sent the video to her. And she made and raised hell. Of course, she had to take it down because it was on Facebook. You know how it is. That I would never share that because that in itself is child pornography. But what are we going to do about it? Can we just sit here and allow these little girls to disappear? And as you can tell, Rapper, as somebody who is a social media personality, you see how people run with some of these stories, okay? And it's not that they're running with it because they're saying, we're staying on this, we're staying on it until things are resolved. They just talk about it for a few days. Where is the story about the young child that lost her life just a couple weeks ago? Where's the story on that? Where's the follow-up on that? Where is the protest? Honestly, I feel like I could buy myself a ticket and go to Jamaica in front of the Parliament building and raise hell. Okay, I'm wondering if I have to strip myself naked, I'm going to be arrested, but at least I might get some attention to say this is not something that you should ignore. Every time a child goes missing in this country, in the town that I live, right away there's an Amber Alert. Right away, we are told that a child is missing, and whoever is, suspected of taking this child, or if they don't have any information, right away we get the information, right away. And a press conference is called. I've never seen any of these government people call a press conference to explain what's happening with any girl. Look at what happened with the little girl the other day. Did they have a press conference? They're joking. It's like they're robots, Rapper. They're like dead. They're like, and I don't want to criticize them too much because I'm not living there. I think a lot of it has to do with fear. Because if you have the right amount of money and you're connected to the right people, you can get away with anything. But I think those of us who live outside of Jamaica have to raise hell. We have to get angry. We have to not just get angry and raise hell, though. We have to stand up to these individuals in Jamaica who claim that they're leaders and political people and let them know that we're not going to sit here and watch you sit there idly and act like you don't know what is happening. We're not doing that anymore. We are going to Human Rights Tribunal. They don't care. Obviously, they make it very obvious. As I was saying earlier, I read somewhere that the Prime Minister said he's not there to alleviate poverty. He's there to create wealth. He's not there to create social network to help poor people. He's there to make Jamaica be one of the richest places. And so when you hear that kind of mindset, he's not lying to the people. He's being honest, so we can't be vexed with him. He tells you where his mind is. He's busy trying to make Jamaica become a wealthy place for rich people. Okay, so we as expats out here have to look out for the people. And we have what we can do to help those who are really struggling financially and those who are dying, our women and our girls. That's what's making me upset. Our women and our girls. They're acting like women have no value. There's nowhere else in the world. And I always say Black women are treated the worst of all women. Black women around the world. And what is terrible is that we are treated worse in the places where we come from. There's absolutely no way that you would see so many girls being kidnapped and being murdered in Jamaica, and there's not a strong presence of political people showing that this is something that has to be eradicated. This sparse or so-called emergency, state of emergencies. I'm saying, Rapper, we need to start a petition asking the United Nations to take a look at the situation in Jamaica because it's past us talking about it. It's past us looking towards government people to address it because it's not happening to their children. It's not happening to their kids. It's not happening to their loved ones and their friends. They don't care. So you have to care. We have to care. It's happening to maybe not our family, but we're hearing about people and it's getting closer and closer. And the Jamaican people have to understand because it's not happening to your family today, it doesn't mean it won't happen to you. Yesterday, of all the girls who have lost their lives so far, the people who are now victimized and people are now suffering emotionally, they must be saying to themselves, oh my gosh, now I know what that feels like. Now I know. We don't have any protection. And what makes me very sad, the women are so loyal to our men. Black women love, no matter how badly Black men treat us, we always look for another one if it doesn't work out with this one. We want the next one. Majority of Jamaican women are so loyal. When they migrate from Jamaica, why do you think so many women are being scammed by some of our Jamaican men? Because they leave Jamaica and they go away and the relationship doesn't work out. They go find another Jamaican man. They find another Jamaican because we're loyal to our people and we're not showing any concern, not showing any love for them. Now, what I also want to say, there should be protests in front of the Parliament building. Is there anyone who will see this video? Anybody in Jamaica who can organize a protest? And just talking about it is not enough, but perhaps when the political figures cannot even go into the Parliament building because people are out there who are outraged. I'm telling the Jamaican people, it's only a matter of time before it happens to you. It's only a matter of time. And some of these girls that are being killed and raped and killed and bodies burned, you don't understand that there's more going on too. It's not just the fact that they're being raped and killed, but some of these people's organs are being harvested too. I mean, when you look at what's happening with the girls and the women, it's very clear that there's a serial killer in Jamaica. And not just one. It's like a body. It's like a organized crime where some of these girls that go missing are taken into some sex slavery business. And if you look at it closely, you'll also see that there's a profile. Usually when we're doing profiles on criminals in North America and other places in the world that are awakened, you see profile on a person who is committing a crime, saying this person, probably has this kind of personality. This person is probably a loner. This person, they break it down for the person who they think might be doing this kind of crime. But the profile in Jamaica can't be on the persons who are doing it. It has to be on the persons who it's happening to. And if you look at the stats, the majority of the girls that go missing are between the age of 14 and 17, between 4 feet, 3 feet inches, and 5'3" and 5'4". That means they're looking for a specific type of girl, a specific age group and height. This means something. If you look at missing girls in Jamaica and look at the stats, majority of the girls that go missing are between 14 and 17, and most of them are 16 and 17. 5'4", 5'3", 5'4", that's not a coincidence. Somebody's targeting these girls. And usually at the same time of the day, almost every time, same time of the day. And people are ignoring it, saying these teenage girls are running away because sometimes that happens. Very few times the girls are going missing because they're going off to see boyfriends. From the last time, and I'm going to say this boldly, from the last time that person was caught in Kingston, in the morning he tried to kidnap the little girl and she got away. And in the evening, she saw him again, making a second attempt, and she made an alarm. They grabbed the person and they said that person was a police officer. They grabbed him, start beating him. He was rescued. And ever since that incident, there was no more kidnapping. No more kidnapping because someone said, you know what, let's just cool down for now until it started up again. It started up again. Check out the profile. Look at them. Rapper, when you get a chance, look and see how similar some of these stories are. Last year, all these girls were named Shan, Sham this, Shan, whatever. So many girls that were dying or were going missing had this name as if that was what they were using to say, okay, let's get the girls. Because it's organized. The person is doing it in a way so that you don't notice what's happening. So the profile must not be on these pedophiles and these rapists, but on the girls, the age group. And a lot of these moms should be held accountable. A lot of these women are allowing their kids to be subjected to these kind of things. Yeah, a lot of serial killers are there in Jamaica. But like I said, some it's, and let me be bold because I mentioned light workers here. Some of the stuff, some of the girls that go missing, especially the ones whose bodies are burnt, some of those are rituals, sex rituals that are being done. Taking virgins, taking little young girls and having sex with them and killing them. Rituals. There are different aspects to these killings. But as this man now comes out and is forcing us to say, okay, we can't talk about this anymore for 9 days. We have to get on this. We have to put pressure on our government. Pressure. We need protests in front of the parliament building. I don't want to see none of these women in Jamaica that are on social media who's out here showing off their pretty clothes and this fancy car and their education, and they're not doing anything. It's a shame. It's a disgrace that these women have such huge platforms and all they choose to do is show body parts. And look at what's happening to the women like us. Women like us, we're not defending our women. We're not standing beside our women. And then when things happen to you and your kids, you're expecting everybody else to come out and cry with you or whatever. Strikes. I want to see island-wide strikes in Jamaica in protest. They're not serious about this until they're demonstrating that they want to do something to change it. It's just depressing. It's very depressing. I'm going to say thanks to Pretty Dan for, bringing us with this awareness, bringing more awareness because we already know about it. I'm thanking her for having the courage to even put this on her platform, knowing that's something that, she's going to get striked or whatever, but she still took the chance. And for every other person who's talking about it, but not just talking about it for today, that is going to say, okay, there's a problem. There's a problem in Jamaica and our kids and our girls are suffering. Our kids are suffering and we can do something about it. We can, if we don't have anyone in Jamaica who's going to show concern, then what we have to do is go out to the tribunal, the United Nations, and let them know that our women, are in grave danger. Serious danger. So my solution for state of emergency, it should be throughout the whole island. And it should not just be focusing on people who are dying, it should be focusing on our children. And then I'm talking about starting a petition. Yeah, please, Rapper. Starting a petition to appeal to the United Nations. I'm going to take that on myself to do my research and to find out how I can send a letter to the Human Rights Tribunal to go to the United Nations to point out all the girls that have died and have gone missing and show that they have not been doing anything. Okay, I don't want to see another child hanging from a tree because you see, even though it's a dream, it has lots of meaning. And some of these girls will not be able to tolerate this kind of abuse anymore. And you never know what will happen as a result of it. Protest. Island protest. I'm willing. I'm willing to go to Jamaica if I can get women in North America or UK or whatever to go with me to go and protest, since the people there have become so accustomed to this kind of violence upon their bodies and on their children, and since they're afraid, so then we can't be afraid. And Rapa, bless up yourself. Like, I'm a fan of Rapa. I'm a fan of you. And one of the reasons why, because you bring awareness to all this stuff that happens, and you're impartial. You don't care who has the story. If the story is there to be shared, you share it. And this is one of the things that I'm hoping that you're going to continue to put pressure, expose them on your platform, because that's what we have to do. We have to shame them, because I know once we bring this to the United Nations to let them know this is happening in Jamaica and that nothing is being done. Sorry, if something is being done, it's kept up secret, and we don't want these things to be kept secret. So I have to assume that nothing is being done, because year after year, day after year, the big question is, why was that man not kept in jail? If that's true that he isn't in jail, I just can't believe that's not true. But that's the story that we're told, that he's not in jail, and the story that the mom. First of all, the parents should be arrested. Yeah, blow it open, Rapa. If parents hear that their kid is on a video with somebody molest, that can't be true. That just cannot be true. There's no way. So what I'm saying is, find these parents and find out, why are they silent? Because I have kids. My older daughter is 29, my 24, and 12. I'm not even talking about my 12-year-old. She's a baby. I'm still protecting my 24-year-old. She can't go anywhere without letting me know where she's going. She's an independent woman, a career person, but she can't go anywhere without telling me where she's going to be and what time she's planning to be home. And when she's going to take a Uber to come home, she has to text me the license plate number of the Uber she's going in. I'm in her business, because guess what? I want her to keep her innocence. I want her to keep her virtue for as long as she wishes to keep it. As long as she wishes to keep it, I don't want someone violating her. This is why I always encourage them when they're young. Don't go to people's yard and sleep over. I'm not into that. I don't play that kind of game, because you don't know what's happening in people's households. So if I'm going to protect my kids or adults, and super manage my little 12-year-old, and because these kids are not from my body, I'm not going to care. I care about what's happening, because the ones who are around them don't care, then somebody else has to care. And we can't sit here and just say, oh, this is happening in Jamaica, oh my gosh, poor, and talk about it about 9 days. I want to see more people on social media talking about this. I want to see lives. I've never seen one live where anybody called in to talk about what's happening in terms of what's happening to the little girls being molested. I'm waiting to see it. Good night. Good night, Lord. Forever forgive me. I can't see so clearly. Welcome. I want to see lives. I'm seeing so many lives, and I support all the Jamaican vloggers. I support most of them. I mean, there are days when I can't listen to what they're talking about because it's not of interest, but I support everybody, and I watch lives, and I'm thinking, these individuals have thousands of subscribers, thousands, who would listen to them, bringing awareness to them. And these individuals are not talking about these things. We need to hear people calling from Jamaica, let the Jamaican people know that we're with you, we're supporting you. We're supporting you, we're with you, we got your back, but we cannot do it alone. If you're not vigilant, if you're not handing over these pedophiles, sorry, and these rapists, how can we help you if you're protecting them? And we're with our police officers in Jamaica too, to say, what, we understand that your hands are tied and that you don't have the resources to do certain things, but you can't accept the excuse that a child who is 6 years old, parents didn't come to identify her on a video, and you let a rapist walk free. See, some people are calling for this man to, be taken out of this world by jungle justice. I don't promote that. I'm not promoting that. I'm saying what we need is to put pressure, okay? Pressure on the Jamaican government, give them no choice. And pressure means that shame them if that's the case. It's a shame that we should value our independence and we always running to other people, but we got no choice. We can't just sit by and see our girls and our children suffer that way. Is there anyone in the chat tonight who has a solution? Any ideas how we can go about this so that we're not waiting for the next victim, because it's happening every year now. I have about 4 videos on my channel talking about pedophilia in Jamaica, talking about girls who came to me in the classroom and explained the amount of rape and abuse that they go through at home. Sometimes their parents know about it, even their own fathers. It's right here. One about 3 years old. It's a real thing. Some of the people who are watching this live right now might have had experience with their own loved ones, their own family members molesting them in Jamaica. And these people are left with hurt and pain, all kind of suffering. Okay, sometimes they can't even have real relationship with men when they become adults because of these horrible things that happen to them. A lot of these boys, and I know stories of boys who said that their neighbors raped them, their uncle raped them in Jamaica. And what? They can't tell anybody because guess what? When you're a victim in Jamaica, you're further re-victimized by people who don't have any sense. I don't know what else to say. Like they see you suffer at the hands of another person, and somehow they manage to find a way to make your suffering become something that you should be ashamed of. A man is beating you, you should feel ashamed. You can't feel ashamed when a man beats you. He's the one who's supposed to feel ashamed. You've been molested or raped. You have to run away. Girls have killed themselves in Jamaica because they were raped and people mocked them about it and they ended their life. It has to stop. It has to stop. We are here using the platform for good. This platform must be used for good, not to just show off on people and not to just spread out and skin out and cuss out. Not that. Jamaican people are powerful people. And we are people, we're community people. We used to look out for each other. We used to love our neighbor as ourselves. But that's gone now. So how can you as a woman sit there and see little girls going through this, see other women go through this, and you're not angry? My problem is not with the government tonight, because the government is doing what it's set out to do. It is to create wealth for himself, his family, his friends, and those who have money. And I guess the trickle-down effect he's hoping for later on. He's not done anything wrong. He's doing what he decides to do. If the article is true, where Mr. Andrew Holness says, I'm not here to alleviate poverty, I'm here to create wealth. So he's doing what he needs to do for himself and whosoever he's there representing. We have to stand up for other women. Let's stand up for women, because the truth is, the artist doesn't seem to care. They have a big voice and they have a big platform, and they're just making money and trying to get fame and keep up excitement and whatever. This is why I did the video appealing to Vybz Kartel, because I know he's more powerful than the Prime Minister. Please, if he came out tomorrow and asked folks to vote for him, he would become the next Prime Minister. Easy squeezy, easy, easy, easy. This is why I'm appealing to him to say, even though you're behind bars, you have the power to make big changes in Jamaica with your voice, with your music. I'm appealing to him. I'm begging him. I'm begging all the people who have big platforms, who can turn on your camera and cuss bad word, and before you know it, you have 1,000 people listening to you and watching you. But someone like myself and other people who actually care about building character and mind and body and spirit, nobody wants to really listen to you too much. You're boring. You understand me? I'd love to come on here and just chop some Jamaican bad words and see if I can get some people to listen to, but that's not me. Why should I have to come here and swear and, behave badly for somebody to listen to what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is our women are endangered species in Jamaica right now. Our children are being subject to some horrible, horrific abuse and crime, sexual vibrations, and I mean it's ridiculous. and it's painful. I'm doing everything not to cry. The little girl was taking a bath. I was giving her a bath, and I took her out of the bathtub, and she curled her legs up like a baby. And it made me realize that this child is very much still an infant, still getting used to the world. A 2-year-old kid is just getting used to being in the world. They're so curious. They're so beautiful. The spirit that they possess. How can someone, a grown man, this is not sex. You're not having sex with this child. What you're doing is killing this kid. You're a murderer. When a man takes a little 6-year-old girl and does anything, any sexual act to a 6-year-old child, you're a murderer. You have killed her innocence. And that child will never get over that. And then you ask, why are these little girls so flighty in Jamaica? Why they're so sexual? Because they're being groomed from a very young age. And I guess based on how they're responding to it in Jamaica, they just don't care. Who cares? These government officials, what? They don't care. This is why you're going to sick international police on them. Show the world the violation, the human rights violation that is happening right there in Jamaica. While they're busy telling us, oh, the economic is doing good and they're on the stock market trading. Of course, Jamaica is doing well on the stock market, because if people are invested in Jamaica and getting a good return, some people are invited there to come without any money, and they'll give them money to start business or to do whatever. They say, come invest, but please, a lot of them are coming there without any money and borrowing loan and doing their thing. If Jamaica is a paradise for people to create wealth for themselves that are not from Jamaica, of course, the stock market is going to show, yeah, come to Jamaica and invest here because you're not paying no taxes. You're not going to pay any taxes. You don't have to live with the locals. You don't have to deal with them. You can get acres and acres of land to rent for hundreds of years, and you can just live the good life. And when you're done, for example, our Chinese brothers and sisters, if I can call them that, because they don't seem like they're brothers and sisters, but the Chinese people understand that when they come to Jamaica, they can stay there for 5 years and they pay no taxes. And as soon as the business is turned over and they make some money, they put it into family's name and it continues. So these folks are busy creating wealth for themselves and their friends. But what about the poor people? People who are afraid to speak, what about them? Huh? Some people say take the law in your hand. I don't know. I don't promote that, but I'm just saying to myself, what else? What else are people going to do if you're going to the police and you're asking for help? Now I'm going to repeat. I got information. I overheard these two women talking about a little girl. I don't quite remember her age now, but she was preteen, I think. And that she was being molested by her uncle. A video was seen on the uncle's phone. The uncle's girlfriend saw the video on her phone that her boyfriend was molesting his niece. The boyfriend was living at a house with his girlfriend and his mom and his sister. The sister is the daughter's sister that was being molested. Now, when I heard these women talking, I'm like, what are you doing? How can you hear that and know these people and sit by and just talk about it? You're gossiping. You're gossiping. You need to report this. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if I have enough information. I said, you need to do something about it because you're a parent. And this little girl somewhere is being molested by her uncle. So the next day, I threatened that I was going to go on here and talk about it. And the person came back the next day. Person gave me the man's full name, where he works at a hotel, the child's photograph that he was molested, and that child had some kind of disability, and the girl's full name, her parents' name, and everything. I sent it to the government, some organization, sorry, to let them know that this was happening and it had to stop and that they need to go investigate. And first they kind of gave me the runaround like, oh, we need more information. And I gave them information as it came. And believe me, I had tons of information about this little teenage girl who was disabled, that was being molested by her uncle. Her mother knew about it, which is, that man is her brother. Her mother knew about it. And the mom said it's too much disgrace. She didn't want to go deal with all that. The grandmother, which is her son, because they all live in the same household, the grandmother said she just didn't want all that disgrace. And they stayed silent. And I reached out, and I'm not expecting them to give me all the nitty gritty or all the details, but at least say to me, we are investigating. I never heard anything. I text, I wrote, and they never answered me again. They just don't care. At this point, just talking about it is not enough. At this point, of course, the police can't stop the crime by themselves because the people in the island, in the country, some of them are afraid and some of them are benefiting from the crime, so they're not reporting. You understand me? People are going to have to come forward. Some are afraid. I understand that. But how afraid are you going to be when eventually it's going to get to your doorstep? Because if you're going to harm me because I speak up, you're going to harm me because I don't. Do you understand? Yes, it's very difficult to have these conversations and not get angry, but I'm doing pretty well with it now because I say we can't get emotional about it because it's nothing new. We can't get emotional and start cussing and swearing and losing our minds because we just do that for a moment and then what? What is the plan? What do you suggest? What do we do going forward? We have to support our brothers and sisters in the world. Everybody else does it. I live in Canada and I see when problems are happening, the Tamil people from Sri Lanka, they ask the government for their assistance. Other folks, whenever anything is happening and there's violations in their country, they ask for assistance, and the Kenyan government usually address it and help them. I can actually say that. And when I look and see how incidents of child abuse are handled here, how situation when kids they find pedophiles online, people with pictures, sexual and graphic images of children, we see how that's working here. It's a very serious thing. Nobody has to remind anyone here that it's serious. People still take chance and do these horrific things to children. But you best believe it. You could be 150 years old. When they find you, you're going to die in prison. And that's what I'm saying. Until the message is sent to Jamaicans that this is not no longer tolerated. Just like how they used to beat children in the school and it was seen as something that was okay. But they cannot do that anymore. You can't beat kids in Jamaica anymore, or you go to jail. There's going to be a serious consequence for doing that. Then why are they not saying to themselves, the kids that are being prepared and prepped from very early on, the kids that are being violated, the kids that are going missing, the girls that are dying? Why is that not cause for a state of emergency? This is the future. We can't speak up. We have to speak up. We have no time. We cannot speak up. We system. There's no system now that cares about human rights. It's just about creating wealth for a few. If a country doesn't value the youth, the children, what kind of country is that? What kind of leadership is that? If you don't value youth, they're the ones or the leaders for tomorrow. If you look at these first world countries, you'll see these junior government bodies. They're being prepared. That's why they're great. That's why they're always ruling and leading the world. Because guess what? They prepare the youth. They value their youth. They value the children. Always looking out for the kids. Always creating opportunities for the kids. There are kids who are struggling with drug abuse. And in our country, we would just turn our backs on them and just cuss them. But it's not like that here. They help them. They create opportunities for them to go to rehab and create opportunities for them to come back and live functional life. And then these people who once were drug addicts can then come and talk to other persons who are going through the same thing. But where's the voice of the ones who are suffering rape? They can't speak in Jamaica about those kind of abuse because people are going to use it to mock them. They're ashamed because they live in a society that teach them to be ashamed. And the message is being sent to the girls. You have no value. This is why girls, women are always cursing each other, abusing each other the worst ways. Because somehow they got the message that they don't have value. That's why it's so easy for us to attack each other, man. Listen, it's terrible. And I'm hoping that those of us who are away, who see what's wrong, who are exposed to a different lifestyle, who understand oppression. You know, we all go through different kinds of oppression, even as Black women. We're faced with all kinds of things. We're facing with sexism and racism and all kinds of isms. But at the same time, we live in a country where at least we can say, okay, there is a department that I can go to that will help me remedy this suffering or this pain that I'm going through. Where is a voice for the children in Jamaica? Hmm? Kumina, where's the Kumina people? Listen, there was a time in Jamaica when if someone stole something, and I'm going to wrap up with this. If someone stole something in your household, the adults, the old time people used to take a Bible and they used to take the key and they would call every single person's name in that household. And the key would spin to drop on the name of the person who stole that money or stole whatever or was lying. So we are those people. They don't know about the Bible and key. They don't know how to find. Why are we talking about Obia and making it look like people are in Jamaica working Obia? There's no such thing. The typical person who understand these things in the past, you know, I guess they're not around anymore. I'm calling Kumina and I'm calling on the Rastafarians to beat those drums because they're a devil spirit. There's a devil spirit hovering over Jamaica. And as I said, some of the killings that are happening are rituals, you know, taking the little virgins, taking the little kids and doing some kind of rituals with them. A big part of it is folks coming into the island because they see that the gateway is opened and coming in there and doing child pornography and abusing our girls and kidnapping our kids and taking them away. And because some of them are preteen or teens, we're saying they run off with man and nobody's going to look for them. Nobody cares. And when a little girl turns up pregnant at a hospital, nobody tries to find out who got you pregnant. The parents hide it, you know, and the kids are afraid to speak. I'm going to wrap up right now. I'm very emotional about this. And I know it's some kind of devil spirit, devil energy because of what it's doing to my vibes right now. And I'm hoping that my little speech out here, what I have to say about this, to say I'm alarmed, I'm disgusted. I'm going to attach all the videos that I've done in the last 3 or 4 years about what's happening to our kids, talking about testimony from other children. Why are you laughing, Patterson? It's not a joke. I don't know if you're having a conversation with someone else, but this is serious business. Okay? So when people come and talk about Obia, I wish I understood Nani Obia, because that's the kind of Obia they're working on the government in Jamaica, that none of them could pass that door to go into that parliament building. I would Obia them so much to where they would see that place and run away and leave it. Do you understand me? Where are the Nyabingi people? And where are the Kumina people? We need them to come out. I'm not calling the church people to do nothing because they're useless. Useless. They have no use. And some of the kids that have been molested in the church anyway. Our girls and our children need protection. And if the folks in Jamaica are not able to do it, then we're going to have to do it for them. We're going to expose them. We're going to go to CNN. We're going to go to all these other places and see if we can disgrace Jamaica into changing. Because what else can you do? Can we shame them into changing? Because we have to. Because I saw the dream this morning with the young girl in the white dress hanging from a tree. And people were looking on. Some were taking photographs. Some were just going about their business. And she was still alive. Her eyes were open. This is a dream. Her eyes were open and she was hanging from the tree. And people were going about their business as if it didn't matter. The only people who are left with pain and suffering are the ones who lost their children already. The ones who understand this pain are the ones who are going through it now. And the rest of us, because it's not happening to our kids, because it's not happening to their kids in Jamaica, they don't care. But guess what? I got to tell them, it's right at your door. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before you become a victim. So join hands with me, and I'm going to do my research and find out how I can do my part and not just talk. I don't just talk. I don't always tell people what I do. If I were to come on here and tell you how I have gone back to my country and what I have done, to do my part, but I don't like doing that. And I still continue to do it behind the scenes to see if I can help out somebody, not just talking about poverty, but trying to alleviate poverty or suffering, finding even one kid to say, what, I'm going to make a difference in your life. Because of me, you're going to be able to eat tonight, or you're going to be able to go to school this week, or you're going to be able to get this uniform. I don't just talk. I also act, and I don't always tell others about it, because it's very easy when you're telling people what you're doing for others that it become about self. And we have to become selfless in these endeavors. And I see women crying, I see men crying, I see people suffering. And don't let them trick you about Jamaica, things are doing better and this and that. That's politics for you. That's what they do. That's what politics do. They talk bull crap and they make themselves look good, but there's no evidence of that. We need justice for our women and justice for the children. Justice for our children. They don't got nobody standing up for them, man. I've never seen one protest. I never see an all island protest. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see, people. I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to see that our kids matter. Our children matter. Damn it. Our children matter. Not because they're born in households where people are poor and broken doesn't mean that their lives have to be broken too. And because they don't have, fancy names or associated to the rich people in Jamaica doesn't mean that their life is not valuable. Because out of the dust rise these people like Phoenix. You look at some of these folks who have made big stride and big contribution to the world space. Jamaican people. And many of them, Bob Marley was not a rich man. Bob Marley father rejected him when he went for help. They ignored him. Family members didn't pay no mind to him, paid no attention to him. And Bob Marley is a legendary person. Okay, we look at Dalton Harris and we hear his story and how his own people didn't see value in him. And you see what he's doing now, and he's going to do greater things. So the child who is going through abuse right now, sexual abuse especially, needs to know that somebody is out here saying, you matter. You are important to us, and we are not going to sit here and allow you to continue to suffer because the people around you are too weak to do anything about it. Guys, thank you so much, Lord. Love you forever. Thanks for joining me. Time is Ilmatic, Imminent Music, Healing Energy, Javane Patterson. Thank you so much. Robert Crupper was here earlier. And Apple, thank you so much for joining me. 24 persons, and it feels like I had 1,000 people in this room. All that we have to do, it just takes one to make a difference in the life of somebody. And I'm asking you to do that, to share this live and to make noise and to, sign the petition and do something about it, so that, guess what? You're not just living your life, just your best life. But when you leave this world, that's my aim. When I leave this world, I need to leave a trail of positive vibrations behind me. And in all my experiences of working with kids, I can tell you, and that's one of my fantasies, is to be in a room filled with them and just watch them tell the stories of the impact I've had on their life and the influence I've had on their life. That is always my goal. Every child that I touch, that I come in their presence, I don't just bless them with my presence, but I allow them to walk away and say, you know what? This world is a better place because I met you. And that's how we have to see our children, because you don't know who's going to be a doctor, who's your lawyer. You don't know who's going to be the person who is going to, save you from whatever you need to be saved from. And even if these individuals that you've helped never do anything for you, at least you feel like you lived a good life. Good night, everybody. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Stay blessed, stay powerful, and let your voices be heard.